Welcome to the I Love Recruiting podcast with your host, Adam Roach.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the I Love Recruiting podcast. I am your host, Adam Roach, and today we're going to go back to a recording that I did for an event within the I Love Recruiting organization called Leading and Recruiting Through a Crisis. And we're going to hear from my man, Terrell Patton. Terrell is a team leader in the Keller Williams organization in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, I've known Terrell for nearly a decade. We have gone through the trenches together in the team leader world, recruiting, retaining, leading, and I tell you what, having a good time doing it. You see, I used to host and throw parties at Keller Williams events when we did the international events through one of my companies called Recruiting Bridge. And Terrell would always show up with a big old posse of at least 12 people deep to those parties. So I have no doubt you will learn, you will grow, and you will take massive notes as you listen to Terrell today. And hey, even go look him up on Instagram. That guy is the man. So enjoy the show. Terrell Patton, everybody.
How's it going, man? You good?
Yeah, man, it's good. What's your shirt say?
Live Sent, brother.
Live? Tell us, what is that?
All right, so probably about a year and a half ago, the pastor of my church that I go to, 12 Stone Church, started a campaign called Live Sent. And he did a series on it, and a 4-week series on it, and gave out T-shirts and different things to just reminded us of, we were sent here and brought here to serve a big purpose, and we have to be that. It kind of reminded me of the bold law, be, do, have. So, we have to live as if we were sent here to serve others. And so it was a huge campaign, and no pun intended, I just threw this on today. I thought it matched my jacket.
It looks good, man. It looks really good. I was hoping you'd come on with your I Love Recruiting shirt, but that, you know what? That one's a lot more meaningful.
No, you know what? I would wear my I Love Recruiting shirt if somebody mailed it to me. You ran out at the event.
You were late to the party, my friend.
I was late to the party.
Which doesn't ever happen, but that's okay. Okay, so let's dive in. We've got well over 200 people here that are listening and are going to learn a ton from you. So share with everybody who Terrell is. Who are you? I know who you are.
Terrell Patton, team leader out of Atlanta. Been in a team leader role. This is my 10th year, so a little over 10 years. Same market center. And I'm a very energetic guy. Love people. Love the passion of getting to meet people. That's one thing that's huge in my world. And I've been through a shift before. So just to pivot just a little bit here. And when I came into Keller Williams, it was during a time that the shift book was super important. Mm-hmm. So I'm the type of person that really likes to get out there, Adam, and be energized and to pour into people. That's who Terrell is. He's a very energetic guy.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that. We've known each other for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
And as it relates to energy, so Terrell, I've always looked up to you, my friend, and really loved that about you. So anytime we would have recruiting bridge parties, or anytime we would have events when we were at these big family reunion events or KW events, you'd bring an entourage, my friend. You could always bring an entourage, and that was always fun. So let's dive in here. So again, we're going through the same questions, gang, and now it's Terrell, it's your turn. So as the market and the world has shifted, right? It's a different world than we've ever known before. How do you, Mr. Terrell Patton, how do you stay in a very real and authentic space for yourself and then also for your people? What do you do?
The first and foremost, Adam, is I stay informed. I think that's very important, is to, you check in with people that are smarter than you every day. You have your outlets that can bring you valuable information to take back to your people, and educate yourself, as well as making sure that you're doing your wellness calls, so that you're checking in with your associates and just seeing how they're doing, have Do they have any needs that they may have that have not been met? So just simple questions that you can ask them, just how are they, how are their families, and are there any needs that you have that have not been met? And doesn't mean that you're there, as their personal pocketbook or anything like that, but based on the resources that you've been talking to and things that you can bring back to them, you're there just as a resource. I think Terry mentioned that word a lot earlier, just being a resource. You don't have to have all the answers.
Right.
So those are two of the biggest things that I wake up every day, making sure that I'm sharpening my my tools and making sure that I'm getting knowledgeable and knowing where the resources are. And then I'm checking on my people.
Yeah.
So those two things.
I love that. And you didn't say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it for you. You're a thought leader, my friend.
Absolutely.
You are definitely a thought leader. And what I mean by that is you'll go find the resources and then you'll bring it back to the people, whoever those people are.
Super important. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. So to go into, I know you're a runner. I know you get out. I know you exercise, but help everybody understand what are your daily routines, right?
Yeah.
We heard you say you go find information, you check in, you do your wellness. Walk us through things.
Absolutely. So every morning, first and foremost, you have to get up and I think Terry mentioned this too. You have to get up as if you're going into your office because you are going to work. So you have to stick to that morning regimen. So I'm getting up, waking up at a consistent time, not just getting up. I'm consistently getting up at the same time every morning. Making sure that I'm getting dressed, even if it's a t-shirt and a blazer or a t-shirt, jeans, but getting dressed as if I'm coming into the office, whatever that looks like for you. Making sure that you're getting some type of exercise time in. That can be, yoga, that could be running. For me, it's running. And making sure that you're getting outside, you're sweating, and you're doing things of that nature. And then I love one thing I have to have on my schedule every day, because I am an energetic person and not having anyone in the market center right now. I have to make sure that I do a daily, just a market center huddle, so that I can see people, feel energy. And not only do I do that with the people in my market center, I make it a habit to do that with my mom every day. I have grown kids, twins that live across the country, so I'm making sure that I'm catching some energy from them on a daily basis. So those are some things that I'm doing, Adam, to make sure that I stay sane and as these things transpire every day, just making sure I stay that way.
Right, and this is a question I've asked the last two people, John and Terry, and I'm asking you as well. So knowing that you get filled up with energy, right? You're a people person. People fill you up with energy. I'm sure there's certain times when we're kind of isolated, right? We've got our family, but again, it's just us, right? Sometimes we can't go into our office with our people either that we've recruited or that we lead and get that bucket filled. Right. And so that can maybe weigh on us just a little bit. So I don't know if it's weighed on you. We haven't talked about it, but if it were to weigh on you, what would be your action steps to actually get out of that feeling?
Well, I kind of mentioned a little bit a second ago and you said it too, running, man. Running is so therapeutic for me. My best ideas come, and when I say run, I'm minimum 5 miles when I go out and hit it. And that's just so therapeutic for me, because I can run I can run to John Maxwell, I can run to some good music. But a lot of times I'll run with nothing and just feel me, feel my heartbeat, feel my feet hitting that pavement and just hearing the elements around me. That kind of settles me and that helps get me through, man. It's real stress reliever. So finding something, whatever that something is, and exercise is pretty good at that. But finding something, but that's what I do. I mean, I'm a runner and I go out and I do that. And then I connect. I connect with people how I can. So now it's through Zoom or it's through a phone call, it's through a group chat, but positive people in my life. So I know you said if we couldn't get with people, so that's where the running comes in. And then typically if I'm running, brother, I'm going to find a way. How can I connect with people? That's when the great ideas come. So, but for me, that outlet is definitely hitting the pavement, man, and getting
That's
out
good.
and running.
I like that. Terry said the exact same thing about finding some silence.
Yeah.
What you just said, getting out there and turning it all off and just feeling and hearing your feet at the cement, man. That's really powerful. I heard Ed Milet say this a couple months or so ago. And he said, go out there, and if you're a runner or if you're an exerciser in the gym or whatever it may be, but you can't go to the gym right now.
Right.
He goes, here's a hack for you mentally. He says, get into your element, get into your zone, and get to a place where you're going to start to waver, if you will, like, oh my gosh, I probably should stop. And he goes, right when you do that, go right to your goals.
Yep.
Just think about your goals. $100 million in passive income, get there, right? Tell yourself that, and it'll take it away from what you're getting ready to stop, and it'll make you go even further.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really, really good. Okay, that's good. Let's go into the next question, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's go into recruiting, because you've been a recruiter for now over a decade. You've taken what you started from basically nothing to now something that is extremely powerful, and I know this to be true.
Absolutely.
Tell me about recruiting, man. What is it about recruiting that fills that bucket of passion, love, and joy, and what does that do for you?
Yeah, it's funny. I heard this question earlier, and I was like, wow. I had to sit back and think. But for me, Adam, I love relationships. I love people. And I just look at recruiting as another opportunity to get in relationship with someone. Getting to know someone. I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by getting to know someone, to find out our things that we have in common, find out a little more about people, their background. So to me, it's recruiting, but it's not. It's just getting to know people and finding ways that you can actually help them. And that comes with asking a lot of great questions and just that's what fuels me, is basically getting to know them. That brings energy about.
Yeah. So asking a great question. Do you have a handful of questions that you go to start building that rapport and building that relationship right out of the gate that you can share with everybody?
Absolutely. I actually sent some to you, but the first question that I always my number one go to, Adam, is if there was one thing that I can help you with in your business, what would that one thing be? And that kind of gives me an idea of where they are. If they're, someone that's leading a big team, if they are a single agent, we kind of start off there. But that's pretty much my one go-to question.
Gotcha. So creating a gap, right? Understanding where they are and where
they are, so we'll know where we're going. Yep. Hey, and what's their goal?
Let's get off script here for a second. So let's talk about, what if they don't know? Right? So you're building this relationship with them, and you say, hey, listen, what's one thing I can do to help you out right now? And they're like, I don't know. What would you say to that?
I'll come back with well, if you did know, what would that thing be?
Right.
And they'll start to think a little bit, because they know. It's just maybe they're caught off guard. But so I'll go back with, if you did know, what would that thing be? Just to get them to think a little bit more, because I think Terry said this too, is leaders teach people how to think. So, just asking that question, that simple question is, if you did know, they typically come back and say, you know what, this is that one thing that I would want to know about.
Gotcha. Yep. And as you're getting them to think there, Terrell, when you're walking them down that path, and maybe they've never been asked that question or questions, right? Tell me about the first time, or tell me about one of the first times. We're always taught to ask a question and then let silence do the heavy lifting. Tell us about that transition when you had to learn that skill set and then get comfortable asking, uncomfortable based questions for people to actually think about it. Walk us down that path.
And then just sit back. And that's so hard for me, because I always want to give that. I want to give them the answer. I want to go straight to solving their problem without letting them basically kind of waddle in that a little bit. So I think it was Paige Powers, who was a MAPS coach, phenomenal. She was a team leader with in my group. She had this thing, it's called WAIT. So I would always put a weight across my office, a sign that just says WAIT. And it stood for why am I talking? So I would always have it in the eye, in the eye's view for me. And once I started to do that, I found myself going deeper with people. I found myself basically scuba diving. Because one thing, is if you can ask a question, and if you come back and give them the answer to that question, or you start trying to solve, the question that you're asking for them, then you're staying on the surface and you're not getting deep enough. So that acronym WAIT allowed me to ask a question, and when they came back, asked another one, and it allowed me to go deeper in that subject. And that's when you kind of, and it's scary to go down there. Just like if you're scuba diving, the deeper you go, the more you have to rely on equipment and tools, and the more risk when you go down. You got to be prepared for being down there. And but WAIT helped me do that.
Now, would you say that you've probably gotten to a mastery level of that? And before you answer, I want to know, I want to share with you why I asked that question. Because jokingly, as I said, you brought, when we would have you have a massive following. You have people that really believe in you and believe in your leadership. Would you say that has been created throughout the years as you have gone scuba diving, as you've gone deep into these questions to really understand and unpack what has gone on inside of that individual?
Absolutely. I've always been an energetic and magnetic guy, but in this industry and in as recruiting goes, I think that has helped me tremendously to go deep, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Sure.
And I had to learn that asking those deep questions really just shows them how much you care. Asking those tough questions, that's, nobody else is touching them in that manner. And it makes them think more. And that's who people want to be around. They want to be around people who are leaders, who make them think, and who ask the tough questions. I never seen someone leave you because they said you were too tough. Typically they leave if they say you're too nice.
Yeah.
So you have to go there. You have to ask those tough questions. Absolutely.
I know all of our listeners just heard that. I want you to say that again, though, because it's so true. Say that again. People won't leave you because why?
People will not leave you because you're being too hard on them, tough on them. People will leave you if you are being too soft. People will leave you if you're just another person jumping on their pity party, because what you'll do is you'll love them right out of the business. So you have to be tough on them for their goals. These are the goals that people have set for themselves. So you have to be tough on them for that.
So what would you say to some recruiters right now? And I don't know if there is anybody on this watching that's like this. However, if there is, that is a little reluctant right now to get out into our new norm and go recruit, right? What would you say to those people?
I would say look at my story pretty much as an example. Adam, you know my story. I took over the same market center that I'm in now 10 years ago. We were roughly a little over 40-something agents. We had a loss carry forward of about $262,000. So we were not profit sharing. This was in 2010. And, recruiting was tough. For one, it was 2010. And then I'm recruiting to a market center in Atlanta with that much loss carry forward. So the agents that bring someone in, there is no profit share for them. There's not really a lot of motivation. And it was during that time to where I actually had to pick up that phone. You and I were script partners at one time. And to pick up that phone and make those calls and recruit people into this environment. So I had to sell a vision. Right now, we have command, which is tremendous. And one of the biggest things that came out of that opportunity back then, Adam, was indies. We used to call them mom and pops. But if there's a lot of, I would say, if there's indies in your area, or if there's teams in your area that that you can get in front of right now, they need you more than any time ever. You know, and that was part of the success here, is that with the help of my OP, I went after independent brokers. I went after small mom and pops, because typically those were the ones that were still in business and paying all of the bills for their brokerage. They had no training, they had nothing for their other agents. So I would say find the niche in your area. Now that was just for our area here in Atlanta. I would say find a niche in your area, even if that's one-to-one agents. Talk to them, get in conversation with them, because they need you more than ever now.
Yeah. And that word need is a very strong word, because
Absolutely.
again, they need the tools, but they also need the relationship.
100%. It's all about the relationship.
They need those
all
shoulders.
about the relationship.
They need your ears. They need all of that. So that's a very, very strong message there. So last question. Top 3 action items that all of our listeners should do right now that you would recommend, whether that's in leadership, whether that's in recruiting, whether that's in running 5 miles with no sound. I don't know how you do that, man. I can barely run 2 miles, and I have to have music blaring in my ears. So what are the top 3 things that they should do?
I call it the 3 C's. And it's funny, our regional leadership shared this. But I call it the 3 C's in moving forward, especially during these times, Adam. And the first C is you have to check your mindset. So whether that's running, yoga, praying, meditation, doing affirmations, etc., every day you have to check your mindset. All right. And the next one is clear focus. So you have to block out the noise, get clarity on what you need to focus on for that day. I think Terry mentioned, she talked about them focusing on 3 things to conquer their day. Well, that's clear focus. That's just having clear focus and block out the noise. This is not one of the C's, but blocking out the noise, something that my OP shared with us in the book of Nehemiah, when he was called down to build the wall, and there was so much, basically a lot of chatter, a lot of people wanting him to come down and go play and go do this. Well, I look at that as like all the Tiger King stuff that's going on right now. And those are distractions. You're always going to have the distractions. But during these times, there was a mantra that came out of that Nehemiah book, and it was, I'm doing great work, I can't come down. So when I say you have to have clear focus, it has to be that focus where you're saying, I'm doing great work, I can't come down during that time. So clear focus on what you want to do for your day. And the last one is create action. You know, all of this is cool, but if you're not taking action, so if you're not picking up that phone, if you're not getting in deeper relationship, checking on your people, doing wellness checks on the agents in your area that you're trying to bring into your organization, if you're not picking that phone up or doing Zoom calls or finding out what you can do to help these folks, then everything else is null and void. So you have to take action. So
that's strong. So
you got to do movements.
Check your mindset.
Yep.
Clear focus.
Yep.
I'm not coming down until this work is done.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
and then
right.
create action.
Yep.
Those are 3 strong C's. So curious. Okay, so what we're doing, and I've shared this with you, everyone's going to iloverecruiting.com. They're going to put in their contact information, and I'm going to send them massive value from you and from all of our panels today and tomorrow. What do you want to provide into that these people can have?
Absolutely. I'm going to definitely put some scripts in there.
Okay.
Because I fumbled you on that one a little bit, but I'm going to make sure I get some scripts thrown in there. Okay. And then some of the things that I'm doing, some of the books that I'm reading, I promise you, if they go out and get this one, Adam, this is so good for the times.
The Art of Possibility.
It's called The Art of Possibility. The Art of Possibility by Benjamin Zander.
Okay.
The Art of Possibility by Benjamin Zander. This is a phenomenal little short read, but it's so conducive to the leadership right now and what we have going on. And if I could, I got like a second left, but let me read this to you.
Go for it.
It says, the foremost challenge for leaders today, as we suggest, is to maintain the clarity to stand confidently in the abundant universe of possibility. No matter how fierce the competition, no matter how stark the necessity to go for the short-term goal, no matter how fearful people are, and no matter how urgently the wolf may appear to howl at the door, it is to have the courage and persistence to distinguish the downward spiral from the radiant realm of possibility in the face of any challenge. That's just one thing out here. This is a phenomenal read. So I will put a couple of books in there as well, my friend.
My brother. Hey, where can people go find you?
So on IG, I am T Patton Broker. That's my Instagram account. And my Facebook is my name, Terrell, 2 R's, 2 E's, 2 L's, and last name Patton, like the general. So those are the main 2 places that you can actually find me. And of course, my email is terrellpatton@kw.com. I would love to chat, answer any questions that I can. And being the person that I am, I would like to just get to know a lot of you guys out there and just to say, hey, I know them. I would like to get in a relationship. So hit me up.
Good, man. Hey, you crushed this. I took a whole nother page of notes here.
Thank you, my friend.
I love you, my friend. We've been brothers for a long time, and even back in the days when we were script partners. How about that, huh?
Absolutely.
We've been through it all. We'll get through this together. I know we will. And if you need anything, you come lean on me, and we'll do this. Thank you for your time, Terrell.
All right. Thank you, my brother.
Hey, brother.
All right. See you.